allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Whatever you want. He has definitely earned it, so.
Why don't you come on down? Because this is really a big deal. Make sure we're on. Hello? Okay, great. I'm stand here. Look at, this is really cool. I'm going to read this. You realize you're only the second person in the state of Wisconsin to get this. So this is like
Really?
this. Yeah.
We had the first previously, and no one's done it at any other school in Wisconsin until.
I don't believe our school was taking the lead for
Okay.
the state of Wisconsin.
We're doing a great job. Keep up.
So your assessor, Ms. Soskich, wrote this, so I'm going to read this on behalf of Ms. Soskich. It is our pleasure as assessors of the Duke of Edinburgh to present Cyrus his Bronze Award. Throughout the last 2 years, Cyrus has been diligently working to complete his award, and it is fitting that he has achieved such a feat as he graduates high school. In order to achieve this award, Cyrus has dedicated 26 hours to complete his physical recreation of archery, 13 hours of skill development in reading and analyzing different forms of text, and 13 hours of volunteer service delivering toys to donation centers, helping with the Salvation Army, and helping to select and pack food at the Harold Johnson Food Pantry. In addition, Cyrus also completed both of the practice and adventurous journeys along with 3 other club members. He played a vital role in the success of both journeys and showed great strength and character and dedication in such endeavors. Congratulations, Cyrus, on becoming the second student in the state of Wisconsin to achieve their Bronze Award for the Duke of Edinburgh. Okay, so we're actually going to have you wear this because this is a big deal.
It's a big deal.
That's
It
awesome.
is.
And then this is a pin that you're going to wear proudly and put that somewhere special. And this is your certificate stating that you received and completed all of the requirements. So well done. And I would love to get a picture. Do you want us to wait till the end?
No, we can do it now.
We can do
Can
it.
we do
Let's
that
do
right
it.
Do we get to ask questions? And all?
No, yes.
I mean,
yes.
we can do it whatever you want, but,
Yes. What questions do you have?
well,
Cyrus, this is all you.
so your activity was in archery. Can you tell us what you did as far as that part of the Duke of Edinburgh was
Well,
concerned?
I've always been like interested in archery, and I just when I was interested in starting the Duke of Edinburgh, that seemed like a good place where I could like get outside in the sun and practice something where I can like work on like patience and just focusing on something and continuously getting better at it over time, and I really enjoyed it. And like over the like 2 years that I was doing it, I've got more knowledge from it because of this. Like I got new bows and or figured out how to upgrade like basically my gear and like what arrows what would be best, what fletchings, which is like the things on the end of the arrow,
Yeah, the
and
feathers, yeah.
everything. It's just
So did you have to set a goal going into this? And then what
Yes.
was that goal? Did you achieve it? Did you go beyond it? Can you give us details on that?
yeah, for each one of the things we had a goal, and like for community service, it was like the goal was to contribute to the community, maybe learn more about the community, and I feel like I reached that goal, maybe even beyond, because I really connected to the people that I was helping at the food pantry. They would come in and I would talk to them, and then like in another week they would come in and I would like be kind of like more interested in like just members of my community, you know, if they were doing well or not. You know, I really grew to care for each member of my community that came there.
Awesome.
And then for archery, I could definitely feel like my skills have been improving over time, even though when it hits winter, they definitely decrease a little bit when it hits spring again. And then the reading and such was very, very fun for me because I would usually do it every night, or not every night, but almost every night when I went to bed, I would like read instead of going on my phone. So it was better for everything.
Yeah. Awesome. Does anyone else have any questions?
Each component, you had someone not within the school who
Yeah.
was your, what would you call them, kind of
Assessors.
your assessors
Yeah.
outside of Miss Soskich or Miss Melky or myself.
Yeah.
So we are just kind of on the sidelines. This is really student-driven and
Very good.
That's awesome.
Do you have plans to go for a silver?
Not at the moment. Like I can definitely see myself doing it in the future, but right now I'm focused on going to college and getting everything set up for
Okay.
my future in there.
You'd be the first silver.
That's true.
should be the first silver in the state, yes.
Maybe I'll look into it after this next.
No pressure to get, come on. You guys have any questions? All right, do you want us to come down there for the
Yes,
picture?
please.
Okay,
Yes.
take our mics.
And you know what, let's take this just for a second. I'll set it here. I'll give it to you.
You should be it with the board.
Okay,
Know the word.
okay.
Ready? Mom, you good?
Yes, thank you.
Nice job, Cyrus.
That is a great way to start off the meeting.
Yes.
So, appreciate that. With that, we can move to communication. Any public comments? If anyone wants to step up to the mic. Please state your name and address.
Hi, I'm Nicole Glachenko, 973 Cumberland Trail, Lake Geneva. I'm the parent of 2 elementary age kids here. So at our last meeting, we kind of talked to you guys about all the benefits of a bell-to-bell cell phone ban. And tonight, as you guys, are we making a final decision or just hearing? What are we
It's
doing?
another discussion on it. We're not voting on it
This will be
tonight.
a first reading, so this will be the policies have to go through 2 readings, so this will be the first reading of that policy.
Okay, so I just want to kind of reiterate my thoughts on, and kind of have you guys kind of like think to yourself like what you consider the kind of school environment we want to create for our kids. So again, I think a bell-to-bell ban is one of the simplest and most effective changes that a district can make. It costs $0 to implement, and it improves attention span, it increases engagement, it reduces distractions, and it strengthens in-person social connections throughout the day. So the decision about the policy, in my opinion, isn't necessarily about whether phones are good or bad, because they are just part of modern life, but it's whether students benefit from having access to them during the school day. So the research kind of suggests that they don't, and the schools that have adopted bell-to-bell policies are reporting nothing but positive results for both learning and the culture of the school. I think the ban kind of allows students to have clear expectations, and it allows the teachers to focus on teaching instead of policing the devices. And then parents kind of are comfortable knowing that during school their children are engaged in learning rather than their digital device. I also think it kind of just sends a message about what we kind of should value. It tells students that school is a place for learning, collaboration, and conversation. So I kind of talked to Dr. White about this, but it sounds like the policy that's being discussed does cover not only cell phones, but also smart watches and earbuds. And I hope that the policy also applies to all the adults in our school and that we can all model the same kind of focused attention that we're asking of the kids that are in school. So hopefully tonight when we do the first reading, we're going to make steps towards a meaningful change that will benefit our students every day. And I would like us to adopt a bell-to-bell phone ban. Thanks.
Thank you. Anybody else would like to make a comment? Come on forward.
Jen Galvin, 515 Bridgewater Circle in Williams Bay. And just wanted to reiterate, hopefully there was a whole big group of us that sent a letter. Hopefully I wasn't on the reply part end of it, so hopefully you were all had a chance to see that. Just to reiterate, I thought it was interesting timing that the U.S. Surgeon General came out with that advisory right after we had come here and met at the other board meeting. So once I saw that and saw their specific recommendation of bell-to-bell, I was really happy to see that that is being advocated for by our Department of Health and Human Services. The other thing I just was interesting, I was just listening to Jonathan Haidt gave, he's the author of The Anxious Generation. He gave a commencement speech at NYU, and it was really, I don't know, the words he said just spoke to what we're talking about here. He said, just urging the students that one of the most important things they're going to do in life is to pay attention. And that what you pay attention to shapes what you care about, and what you care about shapes what you become. And so just talking about what do we want our kids to be paying attention to during the school day. To me, it's each other at lunch. To me, it's also not waiting for the notifications during passing period. And he did talk about that. That's what's happening with these phones. They're capturing our children's attention, and they deserve better. They deserve to have their teenage years be about socializing with each other and not having those addictive devices at their calling all the time. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Thank you. We still have time for more comments. If you want to speak at the end of the meeting, there is time then as well. So, anybody else? Thank you for sharing, ladies. With that, we're going to move. We usually go to reports, but we're going to be going over or going past reports so that we can be done in time for our meeting, joint meeting with the village. They will be presented in the minutes.
If you guys have any questions regarding any of the reports that the principal submitted, you can certainly ask.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions?
All good?
No.
Okay. So then we can move right on to action items. So we have the consent agenda. If anybody wants to make a motion to accept.
Motion to accept. Wait, hang on. I know it's more official than that. Where am I at?
To approve the consent
That's
agenda.
right. Motion to approve the consent agenda as presented. I've done that before.
There you go.
Second.
All right. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right. Personnel transactions?
We have two personnel transactions. One is recommending Julia Bishop for the position of district nurse. She is a graduate of Northern Illinois University, has experience as a school nurse. In the resignation of Devin Servin. Devin is vacating his position as a social studies teacher in the middle school, high school.
Anybody want to make a motion to approve the?
And you still want to do two motions?
Yeah, we want to do two motions because of the liquidated damages. So if you could do those separate.
Okay.
So which one do we want?
These two. We can start with
The resignation of Devin.
Devin. Yeah.
Yeah. I move to accept the resignation of Devin Serwin pending receipt of payment for liquidated damages.
Second.
All right. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right. And then the second motion for personnel transactions?
is I move to approve.
Yep.
I move to approve the personnel transactions listed on the June 8, 2026 personnel transaction sheet.
Second.
All right, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, moving on to the budget, the preliminary budget for this next school year.
Yeah, and we have to approve a preliminary budget so we can begin purchasing supplies and materials July 1. Mrs. Frederick has provided you with a copy of that preliminary budget for the 26-27 school year. Biggest pieces of that was the 2.63% salary increase for all employees, the 9% increase in health insurance. We had some changes in our workers' comp insurance and other related insurances. Right now, we plan to levy about $330,000 below our referendum authority that was given to us by the voters of $1.75 million. So again, our budget's very healthy. It will be balanced, and we'll be ready. The final numbers will be done in October when we have all the enrollment, property values, all that stuff. If you have questions.
Are there any questions? Go for it.
I'll move to approve the proposed preliminary 2026-2027 budget as presented. Second.
All right. Any discussion? I want to thank you, Jen, for all the hard work. Like you said, it's very healthy and strong, so we appreciate that. Is there any other discussion or any questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, moving on to the district fees and rates.
Yeah, we approve the district fees and rates every year. There's not many changes. This year, the primary changes was in the lunch and breakfast, and working with Tahir, so we maintained a balanced budget, was increasing the breakfast and lunch by 25 cents. And then there was an increase for the locks, for the physical education lockers. Kids don't still have those.
Anybody want to make a motion?
Yeah, I'll do it. I move to approve the fees/rates for the 2026-2027 school year as presented.
Second.
All right. Any questions about the changes or anything else regarding the fees? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Next up, we have the employee handbook for this next year.
Yes, I shared with you a draft of the employee handbook at the last meeting, so everything from the previous meeting that we covered stands. Again, our biggest changes were to, the accumulated sick leave, the retiree HR contribution. We went over that last time of when that all starts. Things that, from probably about 3 months ago in a board meeting that we dealt with, and then just pay periods when somebody resigns. And then reimbursement for professional advanced degrees, and then some changes to the extra pay grid, or the extra pay stipends that are there. Any questions regarding what's in the employee handbook changes that were made?
So we made the changes as far as retirement benefits, and have we clearly communicated that to the staff yet, so that they will read it and understand it and not make plans based on what they think they knew from before?
It is in the handbook,
Okay.
and I always highlight the changes to the handbook at the first staff meeting. So that's one that I will go over then and make sure they hear it then, but they also should read the handbook once they get it.
Right.
And and again, I think it was pretty publicized, the conversations we were having. It was shared with staff. At the time that conversation was going on through our monthly staff bulletin, those employees that were retiring this year felt that wasn't sufficient notice, and so you guys acted according to how you felt the best way to handle that.
Would you be able to communicate that again if we approve it tonight, to say that this has been approved, just as a reminder, they did approve this language and this is what the retirement benefits will be going forward?
Correct. And again, this was shared with staff. This
Yeah.
was shared 2 months
So
ago
you can
with
never
staff.
over-communicate.
Yep. And so when I will share it with them is when we do our first staff meeting, I will go over this with them.
Okay.
Because no one should be retiring before
Right.
September 1st.
It's in my RHR
Okay. I just want to make sure that everyone knows so that there's not miscommunication and confusion about it, so, okay. Any other questions before we take a motion?
I move to approve the 2026-2027 employee handbook as presented, effective July 1st, 2026 until June 30th, 2027.
Second.
All right. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, now we're going to look at the purchase of some risers.
The risers are for the choir room. The ones that are in there are pretty old. They're starting to get into a situation where they're present a safety concern, tripping hazard, those kinds of things. Mrs. Soley Johnson and Mr. Quinn went in there and walked through that with Miss Lloyd, and ultimately made the brought this to me, so we're recommending replacing those risers for this year at a cost not to exceed $11,500.
Okay.
All right, go for it.
I move to approve the purchase of risers from Stage Right at a cost not to exceed $11,500.
Second.
All right, any questions, discussion?
I'm assuming they'll be installed this summer.
Correct. The nice part is they're going to remove the old ones and really clean that room, because a lot of times that area doesn't get clean where the risers are because there's such a huge challenge to move. So yes, they will be here ready to go for the first day of class, September 1st.
And the company that's selling us these are going to remove the old ones and take them?
No,
or do
we
have to
removed
dispose of them?
We'll remove the old ones. They'll just deliver these, I believe. The nice part with these that we're buying, they interact with the stage pieces we use for the graduation, so it gives us a little bit of ability to expand that.
Oh, nice.
But the current ones, we'll get rid of those on our own.
Okay,
Sounds good.
I think so. All right, if there's no further discussion, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, then we're going to look at a security check-in system.
So currently we use a system called Raptor to check our visitors into our building. This would include any parents that are visiting, any volunteers, any outside vendors. Before they can have access to the building, they have to go through a screening coming into the building. Basically, the Raptor system, they put their ID in, and it tells us that they have any pending legal issues or record or anything like that. We've used Raptor, I believe, now for the last 3 or 4 years. Raptor costs us about $1,800 a year. We are recommending Verkada at a cost of $25,172.84. That's a 10-year commitment, so it runs pretty even to the Raptor system in price per year. It also is in the cloud, so we don't have to replace servers to host that service. So in the long run, we feel it's a better product and a better deal for us.
Other than the cloud storage, was there any problems with Raptor, or this is just a much better option?
It just works more smoothly. Mr. Quinn and Mr. Kordecki reviewed that with the principals, and the people that were using it liked it better. And Adam, who is from a previous district, they used that and felt it really worked much better for their school. So, and Ryan, doing all the investigation and back work, felt that this was a really good option. That's why he brought it forth, and like I said, they vetted it that way.
Okay. Is this coming out of the regular budget, correct? The regular facilities?
It'll come out of next
operations?
year's budget, yeah.
Okay.
We're not worried about having our information on the cloud as far as the security of that, seeing as how it won't be.
It's not our
internal.
information, it's just pulling the information
Oh,
from
just
the
pulling it
cloud.
through. Okay. I didn't know if we stored information out there too.
No, we
just
don't really
pulling it.
store
Okay.
anything from that.
Perfect.
Okay, I'll do it.
Ready? Sure.
I move to approve the purchase of the Verkada security check-in system from RD Technology at a cost of $25,172.84.
Second.
All right. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, and then we're going to look at the security cameras and licensing.
Okay, we've been shifting to Verkada. I went over this, I met with Ms. Thiel this morning, went over this with Ryan. Again, working with Verkada, we have replaced our exterior cameras, and Ryan, you can chime in if you're up there and able to. We replaced a lot of our outdoor cameras with Verkada. We're certainly getting a little bit, getting better clarity from them, better coverage. A lot of those cameras, when it's one camera, has 4 lenses, so it allows us to get better coverage. Now, in some cases, that second or third lens has to point down, but it gives us the ability, if somebody goes to mess with the camera, they can. I'm going to let Brian talk a little bit about the cameras and why we're looking at that.
Yeah, so kind of going back to also the visitor management thing, Verkada has a lot of benefits if you do kind of different integrations. So like for access control or for visitor management, it'll actually sync with their camera systems. So it will follow, like if you need to find somebody in their camera system, it can follow them based off of, we know they checked in at this time, you can follow them with, if you have all of the cameras throughout the building, it'll show you exactly where they went at any given time. So if you have an incident, it's a little bit easier to track people, and it's easier for the police to get access to it because they have access, remotely because it's all cloud-based. So they can get in their squad cars and there's not a lot of downtime. It seemed like with our current system, it took a lot to get those cameras into their cars, and if something changed, if the software threw out an update, we had to work a bit to get it back into their systems. So that's kind of the impetus by going, trying to get a lot more of the Verkada stuff in here, is that like once you have the whole infrastructure, it works really flawlessly to make sure, there's multiple levels of security in your system. So, yeah.
Are they interior and exterior cameras?
So right now we have exterior cameras. All of those have been converted to Verkada.
Okay.
We do have, I think it's about 5 or 6 interior cameras. The 2 gyms, or we have 2 sets of cameras in the gyms. Those are Verkada. We have 1 in the hallway. We kind of have slowly started to buy them, demoed them for a couple of years, seen how well they, hold up over time. One of the benefits with Verkada is if a camera goes bad before that 10-year license is up, they replace it free of charge. So you're kind of, when we bought our initial system, it was kind of you paid for the cameras and that's it. You have to pay if you want new ones. If ones go bad, there's no real warranty to them. So that is kind of another benefit of Verkada, is it's warranted.
We asked the same question I just asked before, because we are uploading video onto the cloud now. So security, as far as that's concerned, so someone can't hack in and watch our school.
No, the benefit with Verkada is there's a lot of school districts using them. They understand school districts as they need to be hyper secure. Mm-hmm. So they have a lot of security on their end in their cloud-based systems to facilitate that. So I know McGuanago recently moved to Verkada completely. Like there's a lot of schools in the area. Walworth Schools has used Verkada for just about everything for probably 6 years. There was a person we talked to about it. Verkada knows schools need to be 100% secure.
Okay. So they have a history of working with schools.
Yes, and they have a history of maintaining a good level of security on their cloud-based systems.
Okay.
When we were looking at cameras, probably about 3, 4, when we first started
I was
going
gonna say,
with
it's been a
Verkada,
while.
we went to visit Walworth and talked with their people, and they really thought they were an excellent system for them, good coverage. So again, that's where we started making that move more to Verkada. We had a lot of issues with, it's Omni, right?
Yeah, Omni Technologies is the technology company who installed our initial cameras. We're consistently having a lot of issues with them having to come out, and they're out of Madison area. It takes them about an hour and a half to get down here. They bill us for all of that. So a standard service call, if they come here, flip something really quick and leave, it's still like $800 or $900. Verkada is a lot of it can be done in-house. Like I said, we've purchased individual cameras and installed them, and they just go to our routers and we just program it on our end. It's very smooth and simple, and we don't also have to have a lot of tech support coming in or specialized support to kind of operate them or maintain them if they have to update. So,
Perfect.
yeah.
And then building off your last question, will this come out of next year's budget, or what budget? We will probably have to do a I forgot the exact name, but shift money when we have our fund balance carryover from this year. Some of that will be a assigned fund balance or do a budget adjustment to account for that. Certainly it is close to, again, $97,000. That's not going to come out of next year's budget.
And a big benefit with the cloud-based system, so right now our current system has two basically servers that host all of our video for the past 30 days, which is what our policy says we host for 30 days any video footage on the property. Those each, when me and Austin had looked them up, they were about $20,000 a piece. They are at, I think we got this system in 2014, so they're 12 years old at this point. They're on their last leg, and if we had to pay $40,000 to get 2 new servers for that system, it does kind of get to a point where financially having to constantly worry about, well, this server could also go down. It's not just cameras, it's also $20,000 servers. Right. That becomes a lot more expensive, and it makes for CATA look a little bit more...
Yeah, more liability.
Yes. Yep.
So this is a 10-year agreement as well?
Correct.
And it's roughly not 10 grand a year?
Yes.
And that's comparable or?
Yes, yeah, like I said, the nice part is it has the warranty with it. The current system, I can't remember what we ended up paying for it when it was initially done. But that had, I think, a year warranty. And from a quality standpoint too, the cameras are significantly better.
And that was done about 10 years ago when they were building the elementary school. We did all the camera stuff.
Okay.
Okay. Cool. Are there any other questions for Ryan before we entertain a motion? Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ryan.
So if anybody wants to make a motion.
I'll move to approve the purchase of the Verkada security cameras with installation and a 10-year license from RD Technology at a cost of $97,556.87.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All right. Any other discussion? We had a pretty good
That's good.
add. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, with that, we can move on to discussion items, which is just one, is the reading of the possession and use of personal communication devices.
So this is the first reading of our student possession and use of personal communication devices. We are recommending a bell-to-bell policy. It will include all wireless communication devices, which includes cell phones, tablets, computers, smart glasses, smart speakers, and so forth, including earbuds. So those will be all encompassed within that. It is a K-12 policy, and students would be prohibited to using those from the start of the day to the end of the day. There are some exceptions in that. One is by direct permission of the administrator or the teacher in charge. That would be if they're doing a special project in class, so that should be pretty rare, and it has to be for an educational purpose. We also have the exceptions as with state law, students with disabilities, students with healthcare management plans that we need to have the phones, so like accessing for their diabetes, those kind of things, and then legitimate emergencies and threats is another piece that's in the state law. But basically, well, not basically, we are recommending a bell-to-bell cell phone policy to the board.
So we'll open discussion if anybody wants to.
I know we had a nice conversation at our work meeting and felt very good about the back and forth and dialogue that we were having, and the effort to support our students and our faculty is kind of our biggest concern.
Yes. The main, one of the points I brought up was that we want to make sure that we make this easy for the faculty to enforce, as opposed to having it go hour by hour, have something where they check it in the morning and then you don't have to worry about it till the end of the day. I'm not sure how that looks, but I'm sure you guys will come up with ideas, and the teachers will have input on how they want to do it. And so I think we can achieve this.
Yeah, Mrs. Soley Johnson and Mr. Badeau will be working together to figure out how to implement those various aspects, how they're going to, where the kids are going to put them at the beginning of the day and where they stay throughout the day. The initial thought is the lockers, but again, we will be looking at what's the best way to make sure that the policy is enforced consistently and appropriately.
Do you have the numbers that we went over on Saturday as far as the surveys and teachers and parents? just so other people can hear?
I have the parent feedback. The parent feedback on the elementary policy was basically 90% were supportive of the elementary policy, which is currently no cell phones in the elementary school. They turn them into Dr. Bond. Basically, only 40% was supportive of the hybrid model, which was the high school having the phones throughout the day, but not during the instructional period. We basically had 70% of our parents supporting a bell-to-bell policy in the survey.
And then, did you have the results from the faculty?
Yes,
Would you like to share those? Just
Emily
so
shared those,
it
yes.
goes on the record and people can hear that came to know about this?
Sure, 62.5% of staff were for no cell phones all day, and 37.5% were not for that. So if that's the percentages that you just want me to share, I'm not going to
Well, if I
provide any.
understand correctly, though, it was like 15 to 9, but then one of them that said that they were in favor of the instructional time said they're only in favor of that because they weren't sure how they'd implement the bell-to-bell, but they really would like bell-to-bell, so it's closer to 2 to 1 as opposed to, so it
Yeah.
swayed even farther towards bell-to-bell, as I understood it.
Yeah, some of it, you are correct. If
Yeah.
you look at some of the specific,
Oh, I know,
Yeah.
I'm not questioning it, this is what we discussed on Saturday.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that we're clear on all that, so.
yep.
Does anybody else have anything they want to discuss as far as the cell phone policy?
No, I've been appreciative of the information that's been provided by many of those that are in attendance tonight, so thank you for that additional information. It's nice to read up and to try to really understand the issue. So it's been helpful.
To be completely fair, the students were not completely in favor
Yeah,
of bell-to-bell,
yeah.
but that's understandable. But there were some that were, they understood, so.
Process-wise, again, we'll have the second reading at the July meeting. That will be, I believe it's July 28th. Then the policy will be officially a bell-to-bell policy. Again, policies have to go under 2 readings. So once you approve it officially at the July meeting, it will be in effect.
All right. If there's no other discussion, we can move on to any other public comments. So if anybody else has something they want to share with the board, now is the time. Going once, come back up if you want.
Jen Galvin, I just want to say thank you for all the time that went into this, and I know there was people advocating for it hard, and I just really appreciate the time you all took in the surveying, and I know it was a lot, so thank you.
You're welcome. I will say that we always say that we make better decisions when we have more information, so we appreciate the feedback that people have given us as well. So it helps. Is there anybody else that would like to step up? Yeah, come on up.
Do you need my name and address?
Sure.
Okay, Sarah Keith, 522 Woodlawn Drive, Williams Bay. Thank you very much as well. I did want to just add if it was possible to amend or think about amending the policy for middle school cell phone usage during field trips. So, I don't know if you know.
How would you like that amended? Can you be more specific?
No phones on like the bus ride. I feel like it's similar to the lunchtime, like we kind of want the kids socializing versus head down in a phone. I know sometimes the cell phones, they're worried about possibly losing kids or I don't know exactly. I don't understand it exactly, but I know phones can be used during the trips, and I just feel like at least on the bus ride, they should be put away.
Well, as I understand it, that's not instructional time, but if we go bell to bell, they were going to be going on a field trip between the first and last bell, so I would think that the cell phones would stay in their lockers when they're, but this is a gray
I would tell you,
area that
in
we
the
need to-
policy right now gives the administrator the ability to give an exception. So the principal could say, yes, we're going to such place, we want the kids to be able to access us due to the nature of the trip. We're going to allow that. I know that Mrs. Soley-Johnson's heard the feedback regarding the access of phones on the trip, and I'm certainly that is something she will take in consideration when she's looking at that. But in the policy, we certainly would maintain those exceptions.
Right. So that'll come down on a case-to-case basis.
Yeah, and I
I would
understand it, I
assume-
just know, like, I feel like they should have more independence, you know, they're older, but I also feel like that responsibility expectations should be higher too, with them being older as far as checking in with teachers and stuff like that. So, that's all I want to say, but thank you very much.
Yeah, that's what we're aiming for.
Yeah.
So, and I would assume that senior trip or any choir or band trips that they would have their cell phones because that's multiple days and it's outside the bells. But if it's, you come into school, the bell rings, you get on a bus, you go somewhere, you come home or come back, and then the bell rings at the end of the day. I'm assuming that's bell to bell and it's in the middle of the day, and so they would not have their cell phones. That's what I would assume.
Right, and some of those exceptions need to be there. For example, again, and that's where you get all these little caveats.
Yeah.
If for some reason we have to let the baseball team leave at 1 o'clock, that's still within the instructional day, but they're taking their cell phones with them because they're not getting back till 9, 10 o'clock at night. So there's always the exceptions. That's where we have to work together as administrators, teachers, coaches, just to make sure we're enforcing it to the spirit of what the policy is.
Absolutely.
And I think in a year's time, we'll revisit how did it go and what adjustments do we need to consider.
I think we're starting off in a good place, though. Any other public comments? All right, hearing none, we can have an adjournment. If someone wants to make a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, thank you, everybody. If you want to stick around for the joint Village Board School Board meeting, you're more than welcome. It'll start in
45.
48 minutes.
Something like that. We're way too efficient.
Yeah.
You're right.
Well, we want to make sure we have more time.
Thank you, everyone, for coming.
Yes.
Sure.
I think so, yes.
Second.